Hiya folks, Sass here, and welcome to the first episode of That Dude Who Reviews. And since it's getting near to All Hallows Eve, I thought it would be fun if I took a look at a horror movie. But not just any horror movie. I'm going to take a look at the film that was the subject of the 1999 documentary American Movie. And so that film is Coven. Let's take a look. We start off with some pretty nice establishing shots of Wisconsin in the winter as the credits roll. From there we see Mike, played by the writer and director Mark Borchardt. It's all downhill from here. We see we are in a dream as Mike wakes up. We gather that Mike is a writer who is struggling with writing an article for a deadline. He pops some pills to deal with his anxieties. Think you have it rough? Listen to Mike's dramatic breakdown.
Get it done. Because I've got to get it done in this fucking goddamn rat trap. This ain't a fucking life, this is a fucking shit. Fuckers! God damn it! I can't believe this is my fucking life, man. Okay, you?
He pops some more pills, but maybe just one too many. He winds up in the hospital where the doctors tell him to take it easy. In the elevator, we are witness to... I have absolutely no idea. Let's look at it again. The doors open where a weird-looking guy causes a sleeping patient to convulse wildly, I think. From there we meet Steve, Mike's only friend. I want to point out that in the many times I've watched this film, not once do I remember hearing Mike's friend be referred to by name. Getting back to the movie. Mike meets up with his friend where they have this exchange.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
All right, good to see you. Oh man, Christ, I need this.
Steve, out of concern for his friend, advises him to attend an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, to which Mike begrudgingly agrees. They attend the meeting, which looks like it was lit by a single overhead light bulb, as the group's members vent their problems. See if you can guess which one of the white dots is speaking.
I started using cocaine when I was around 12 years old along with...
Mike doesn't care for the group so much, so he goes to sneak a drink in the John.
God helps those who help themselves, man.
Indeed he does, sir. Indeed he does. The next day, Mike realizes he's out of pills, so he goes to procure some more. At his dealer's house, they engage in a dialogue, complete with such gems as...
The usual?
Yep, that'll do me.
Still do the trick, huh?
Yeah, it keeps me awake, you know, and that,
Well, stay alert, stay alive.
All right, man. I suppose the, inevitable becomes quite evitable. There you go. It's yours, man. Take it.
Right.
Mike buys some booze and heads out into the woods to write. While jotting some notes, he sees... What the fuck? Some clan, maybe? I don't know. Moving on. They drag Mike through a swamp, but he runs off. Okay. He attends another meeting.
Showing up the second time is most telling, so in our own little way we celebrate that. Last but certainly not least.
This isn't poison, you know what, is it?
At first, I didn't want to come to these worthless meetings of yours. I figured, just stay away. These people can't help you. They're as fucked up as you are. Willpower, I got strength. I don't need your worthless meetings. I can do whatever I want. It's my life. I can live it any way I want. As every one of you know, I've tried to kill myself twice.
Yikes. So the leader of the group tells Mike a bit about himself.
Michael, I'm a murderer. Oh, an unconvicted one, as you see. Nevertheless, the deed was done. Do I feel any remorse? Absolutely not. But perhaps you ought to know a few details of this dastardly circumstance. N'oubliez pas.
Mike goes to the toilet again and has a vision.
Meaningless. Sunrise to sunset. Morning to night, it's meaningless. What do you say, Captain?
At home, he has more, I think.
Depend on me.
That's enough, good men.
Listen, you little meddlesome bitch, another unwanted peep off of you would have...
You what, you fucking old fart?
I swear, I'm not doing anything to the audio. That's the way it was mixed.
Tempers have a tendency to flare on occasion, don't they?
Next day, Mike and Steve talk about the group. Mike attends a get-together at Steve's house where everything goes to hell. Mike goes to a parking lot the next day where, again, he's attacked by the weird clan. They beat his car to a pulp, and then he realizes it was all a dream. Jeez, guy, take this as a sign. Lay off the Ambien. He goes to another overacted meeting that soon loses control.
Maybe you need that extra push?
Maybe you need help. Maybe you don't have the guts to do it. Maybe we do. You're sick.
Any last request?
How about a Last Supper? Hey, calm down.
What the fuck? Oh, who cares? Anyway, Mike visits Steve at his house, and once again things escalate.
What the fuck's the matter with you, man? Hey, take it easy.
They proceed to try and make him drink blood. I don't know. Things result in a bloodbath, and Mike is left as the only one alive. And then we cut to black. And that was Coven. Some right, huh? Alright, so a couple of things you might have noticed. For one thing, Mike's mullet grew consistently throughout the whole movie. This is due to the fact that the movie was shot over a 2-year period. I know, 2 years for a 35-minute film. But, hey, you know what? I know it's hard to make films, but that's just part of the game. It takes a while. Another problem that I see is the fact that Mark Borchardt, who wrote and directed, decided to star in it. And to me, I think that's one of the biggest problems in the film, because him being in front of the camera, he doesn't see from the viewfinder of the camera what all problems are there. For example, like how poorly lit some of the scenes were. If he was behind the camera and if he was someone doing the shooting, trying to get his vision that he had written down on paper onto screen, that would have been one of the first things he would have done. He would have had to have seen the problems and correct them. But because he was a star, he didn't have the capability to do that. Another thing being, it was shot on film. And film, for those of you who don't know about it, it takes a couple days to get the film developed so you can see dailies. Just like a couple days later, after you finish shooting, you will then find out when and what, is wrong with the take. I don't know what when is wrong with the take, but whatever. So I think the biggest problem is the fact that he's the one doing the starring and not the actual directing. It didn't seem like. And one thing you will find in the documentary is that it took a long time to edit, and to the point where they were cutting the movie the day of its release. So I think that was the biggest problem. They just rushed it, and there were no real moments where they could have in the film. It was just cut way too fast. With certain scenes, like they're sort of trying to do a couple quick montage shots after a fight's done, and then they just go like boom, boom, boom when they're supposed to be boom, boom, boom. And maybe that's just me and how I see a movie in my head when I go to write one, but that's just me. I mean, I've seen plenty of films and stuff, so that's just some things I've noticed. Another thing would have been, for a better picture, in my opinion, would have been if they had just stayed at the hospital and have all the events that happened to Mike be a drug-induced hallucination. That would have been a bit more interesting, in my opinion. And another thing I want to point out is that this story is slightly similar to a short story I read back in high school where this guy, he goes to this support group to quit smoking, and he finds out that their methods are very extreme. Hopefully a couple of you out there have read it. I don't remember what the title of it was, but I do remember the story. And it was the twist ending that really did surprise you. It really felt like a twist. And with this, it just seems like a whole mess of like all these like psych out dreams or something like that you don't really know which is real and which isn't. And in some movies that can work perfectly to your advantage. But here it just seems like a mess. And another thing is that Mark Borchardt, he is, I guess, as of right now, still doing his first feature film entitled Scare Me. And according to the credits on IMDb, that he is both writing and directing it as well as he's starring in it. And I'm hoping that his experience on the short film and seeing some of the flaws, maybe he sees some of his flaws, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But I'm hoping that he'll remember some of the problems that he had and be able to correct them this way. I know that's what I would probably do if I was in that situation. But again, I'm not in that situation. It's him and not me. And so, with that said, this has been Sass, and I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned, because next time we are going to take a look at, drumroll please, this has been Sass. I watch them because you probably forgot them. Take care.
We don't want you to cross the point of no return.